不忘记我答，你笑我的名字 John Cena， 你不看到。
What's up, everyone? For WrestleTrivia, I'm your host, Kevin J. Callis.
Yeah.
And welcome to another episode of Wrestling Jeopardy, the interactive game show where you're the contestant.
Hit the music!
So let's go to the board right now because it's time to play the game, and let's find out what categories you'll be quizzed on, starting with album reviews, followed by hip-hop lyrics, where yours truly is going to be spitting fire, rapping lyrics. Our third category, behind the gimmick. Our fourth category is rock bands. And our fifth and final category, as voted on by the WrestleTrivia Maniacs, this was a landslide. The three choices were the music of WCW, WCW Mayhem, and WCW Slam Jam Volume 1. And the winner with over 75% of the vote, the music of WCW. And that sound means it's time for the 200-point jobber round. This is the easiest round in Wrestling Jeopardy. Can you answer all 5 of these questions correctly, or will your game begin kind of crappy?
Because right now we're gonna whip it on you.
So let's kick things off with the first clue of the jobber round from album reviews worth 200 points. One music critic was quoted as saying this wrestler's flow is surprisingly tight for a middle-aged, muscle-bound beef jerky salesman with an audible constipation problem. And he's referring to the 2005 album Be a Man from the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Be a man. What's up with that?
And we're moving on to the second clue of the jobber round from hip-hop lyrics. From the Outkast song Southern Playlistic Cadillac Music, time to drop these bows like this wrestler. And that would be time to drop these bows like Dusty Rhodes.
Time to drop these bows like Dusty Rhodes, then I yell, ho.
Moving on to behind the gimmick for 200. Elvis Presley was the inspiration behind this wrestler's 1980s WWF gimmick. He's cool, he's cocky, he's bad. Who is the Honky Tonk Man?
How's that sound, Jimmy?
I love
How
it,
does
baby.
that sound?
And we're on to rock bands for 200. Peroxygen Y is a rock band from North Carolina started by this charismatic enigma. Who is Jeff Hardy? And let's close out the jobber round with this clue from the music of WCW. The album begins with arguably WCW's most effective theme hook to signify the arrival of this red and black NWO spin-off faction. And of course that would be the howling of a wolf to signify the arrival of the NWO Wolfpack. Alright, hopefully you went 5 for 5 there, and if you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Let's move on to the 400-point round, kicking things off with a clue from album reviews. One music critic was quoted as saying, this wrestler's 2005 rap album is a unique nostalgia piece for any kid who grew up during the Ruthless Aggression era. And a fun fact I learned is that this wrestler is the only musical artist to have their debut album go platinum and never have a follow-up or a second album afterwards. The correct answer is John Cena. And we're on to some more hip-hop lyrics for 400. From the Limp Bizkit song In Together Now featuring Method Man. They call me this wrestler. My middle name Mud. Dirty water flow. Too much for you, thug. I'm trying my best here, okay? My flow is not, it's not lit, all right? Anyway, the correct answer is...
They call me Big John Stud, my middle name Mud. Dirty water flow, too much for you thug.
Moving on to behind the gimmick for 400, Prince was the inspiration behind this late 1990s WCW gimmick. And that would be, who is the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea? That brings us to the 400-point clue from rock bands. The Luchagors were an American punk band fronted by this WWE Hall of Fame diva. And this band combined their love of lucha libre wrestling and horror movies, hence the Luchagors. The correct answer, who is Lita? And let's finish up the 400-point round with this clue from the music of WCW. This wrestler's theme, Dog Pound, is a blatant ripoff of Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle. There's 60 tracks on this album, and I'd venture to say that probably at least 25% are kind of rip-off cover songs. But this one, Dog Pound, is the theme of the dog-faced gremlin Rick Steiner. All right, 10 questions down, 15 to go, plus the Daily Double and Final Jeopardy. Let's kick off the 600-point round with this clue from Album Reviews. Wow, that's a little bit early on, a little bit earlier than usual, but we'll take it, right? Hopefully you know a little bit about wrestlers who have also musical careers. Well, think about that right now and place your wager. All right, time is up. Here comes this episode's Daily Double clue. According to one music critic, this wrestling legend knew how to throw some shade, and this was quite apparent based on the lyrics of his song, Pencil Neck Geek. And that would be the one and only legendary manager, the late great classy Freddie Blassie. And we're on to some more hip-hop lyrics. This one's worth 600 points from the 2 Chainz song Poor Fool. Smoking on a yacht, call me this wrestler. And the answer is smoking on a yacht, call me Ricky Steamboat.
Smoking on a yacht, call me Ricky Steamboat.
On to another clue from behind the gimmick. Little Richard was the inspiration behind this early 1990s WCW gimmick. And this gimmick was also the brainchild of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. That's Mark Marrow when he was Johnny B. Bad. Moving on to some more rock bands. This one worth 600 points, God's Hate, is a hardcore punk band founded by this AEW wrestler who also serves as the band's lead vocalist. And that would be Big Bad Brody King. Let's close out the 600-point round with this clue. In classic WCW fashion, this piano-playing wrestler's theme is actually just an instrumental version of Paul Orndorff's wonderful entrance music. And this theme was actually called Gorgeous George, who is the maestro. And let's kick off the 800-point round with this clue from Album Reviews. One wrestling critic was quoted as saying this wrestler mostly stays with a simple formula of setup, punchline, trash talking mixed with acoustic guitar riffs. And this critic was talking about the album Walk with Elias, courtesy of one Elias. We're on to the 800-point clue from Hip Hop Lyrics. All right, get ready for this one from GZA's song Shadowboxing, once again featuring Method Man. I slayed MCs back in the Rec Room era. My style broke mother effing backs like this wrestler. You can see I'm getting more into it. The flow is getting better and better as I keep practicing here. But the correct answer, Ken Patera.
I slayed them C's back in the rec room era. My style broke motherfucking backs like him for terror.
Here comes the 800-point clue from Behind the Gimmick. Pearl Jam is the inspiration behind this current independent wrestler's gimmick. This guy just debuted a couple months ago in Chicago, became like a viral sensation. He's a modern day Eddie Vedder. The correct answer, who is Stephen Flo? Stephen Flo, Stephen Flo. On to another clue from rock bands, this one worth 800 points. Styled after bassist Gene Simmons' famed makeup, the Kiss Demon was originally portrayed by this WCW wrestler in 1999. Now Dale Torborg would go on to play the Demon, he's still playing him to this day, but the wrestler who first played the Demon, only appeared twice, was Bryan Adams, aka Crush. And let's close out the board with this clue from the music of WCW. This former WCW television champion can be heard rapping on the song Heartbeat Away. Oh, Big Bratwurst, shout out to you, Wrestling Bios. The correct answer, everybody loves a little Saturday Right fever. Who is Das Wonder Kid? Alex Wright.
Hey, Oos, please hit my music.
Sorry about that. It's a great song. Warped Mind, love it. Anyway, we've reached the most difficult round in Wrestling Jeopardy. It's the main event.
Get it?
These questions are guaranteed to put your knowledge where? To the test. Yeah. All right, and here comes the final clue from Album Reviews. One music critic was quoted as saying, "It doesn't always make sense, but this wrestler's opinions on the education system and conventional beauty standards are at least kind of in keeping with the philosophy of a man unafraid to goad an entire arena into making it rain folding chairs." I have this album. I love this album. Roppongi is a underrated smash kind of smooth jazz, soft rock, yacht rock hit. The correct answer is the wild and crazy Terry Funk. That was a terrible imitation. Terry Funk. Here comes the final clue from Hip Hop Lyrics. Let's see if I can knock this one out of the park. From the West Side Gun song, No Vacancy. Rest in peace, Bino. Rest in peace, Kino, the Spiegel, the Seagulls, April Fresh Ego, slam on your neck like this wrestler. And that would be slam on your neck like Bruno Sammartino.
Slam you on your neck like Bruno Sammartino.
And that brings us to the final clue from Behind the Gimmick. The Beatles were the inspiration behind this 1960s wrestler's gimmick. And this guy was referred to as the Wrestling Beetle. Who is George Ringo? 2 questions left. Moving on to the final clue from rock bands. Chris Jericho used to perform under the guise of this persona as the frontman for Fozzy. Now this was originally part of the band's gimmick. They would have fake names and stuff like that, and Chris Jericho would go by the name Mongoose McQueen. And let's close out the board with this clue from the music of WCW. I love this. According to the official song lyrics, the phrase American males is repeated over and over this many times. Legit, I sat there, I listened to it all. You can do it too. Make sure you check my math here to make sure I'm right. But the number I came up with, what is 38 times? All right, don't go anywhere. It's Final Jeopardy time. Here's this episode's Final Jeopardy category. Now, we're keeping with the musical theme here, rap battles. There have been a ton of rap battles over the years. John Cena's had a ton of them, but I'll give you a little hint. He's not part of this Final Jeopardy question. Anywho, place your wager now. All right, time is up. Here's this episode's Final Jeopardy clue. In 2017, this hip-hop star hosted the infamous rap battle between the New Day and the Usos. Was it A, Chance the Rapper, B, Kendrick Lamar, C, Travis Scott, or D, Wale? Good luck. And just so you know, this is not an R-rated episode. We're PG, we're family friendly. The correct answer, who is Wale? And that does it for another episode of Wrestling Jeopardy. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Kevin J. Callis.
Yeah!
And I'll see you next time.